literally means an energy space. Pioneers in astrology, mathematics, physics, if you look at the whole construction of the temple itself, the Milky Way, the Shira Sagara, that's how it is described. Shira Sagara itself means, Shira means milk and Sagara is the ocean. There are various kinds of Kshetras, various kinds of temples for the purpose for which you go. So a dinacharya is the, like from morning, then the moment you wake up till the moment you go to sleep. If you are going into a mesocosm, which is a Kshetra, and coming out, they want you to grab a bit of the cosmos into you. That means what? You're becoming a Mahapurusha. If you observe a particle, it'll behave in one way. If you don't observe it, it starts behaving in another way. They still haven't figured out why it is so, but that's how it is. The water has imbibed the energies of the whole ritual and has become tirtha. Later, when you come and sit, you sit with the eyes closed, and then you visualize the imagery that you saw inside. So many situations comes up in life, which we see as hard situations. So many other factors are involved. But if we have a certain cocoon, then it's easy to pass through. Mandala is the grid. You can say it's a grid. In the Kshetra, the central sanctorum is the Garbhagriha. So day to day, like temple is just, as I said, a replica of the human system. Dinacharya, similarly, through the week, through the month, what you can do to yourself to protect yourself so that functioning in the world becomes effortless.
So my name is Yagnesh Patel, and I'm from Hindu Parents Network. So before we get started on the topic of the day, let me introduce myself, organization, and our guest. So Hindu Parents Network is a support group for diaspora Hindu parents living in the US and Canada. Our mission is to help Hindu family preserve the cultural identity and advocate for accurate representation of Hindu Dharma in classrooms. And we fulfill this mission by hosting webinar like this, which encourage conscious Hindu parenting through workshops, resource, community gathering events, as well as promoting respectful education in school classrooms and standing against bullying and discrimination and other such issues Hindu young mind faces. At the same time, we have a specific program for inspiring confidence in younger generation through immersive camps, workshop, and programs. We have just announced one of such workshop we are hosting in East Coast. We will discuss about those in later part of this session. Today we have a special guest with us, Prem KV, and as you know, topic of the webinar is explore the hidden power of temple you visit. Let me introduce Prem with a short bio. You may have heard him on his YouTube channel. He's quite popular, and he brings really unique insight. That's what I can say. He has the way he described himself is also interesting. He suggested he's a lifelong seeker and another interesting thing which I have seen about him is he has spent 15 years as a brahmachari in ashram with deeply immersed in spiritual practices. He is also former plant scientist then he is using his skill of storytelling and research to make a film documentaries, and that he has been doing for last 6 years. He has been traveling extensively across India and capturing many powerful temples and sacred spaces, and he has been sharing those on his YouTube channel. And one of his key work is Sadhguru Sri Brahma series, which has received so many reviews as well as watch time. And we also see that he has we can see that he has put his mission in his YouTube bio, where he says that he wants to inspire young minds to connect with their roots and preserve the richness of Indian tradition. Personally, I come across Prem's work last year, and I was really mesmerized because I have seen many people holding knowledge, but ability to translate that knowledge into wisdom, and that to convey in a powerful storytelling fashion, which can transform people's life. So that is a rare gift, and that what Prem brings. So without much delay, I'm going to give floor to Prem, and he will discuss about hidden power of temple you visit. Go over the workshop we are hosting with help of Prem. So we are starting from this April. We are hosting multiple workshops throughout US, and his first trip is starting from New Jersey from April 26th. So we are covering East Coast this time. New Jersey first, followed by Boston, and the third place is Atlanta. So more information about this workshop can be found at bit.ly in HPN dash Hindu roots. We will place this URL in the chat window. All
Yes,
right, yeah. So you can get started.
yeah. So the topic for today, the half an hour that we have, we're going to look at how the topic that is there is how to explore the hidden power of the temples that you visit. So, temples have been a symbol for the whole Hindu faith for almost, you can say, since 2000 years. Um, and we have in our life have been visiting temples, but different people have used these temple spaces for different reasons. And I would like to give a little bit of insight as to why these temples were created in the first place. The word temple itself is not the accurate translation for what these mandirs are. We call it shetras. Shetras literally means an energy space. Now, why these energy spaces are created? If you know about our ancient siddhas, yogis, and seers, they were so advanced in their science. We don't have to keep proving it again and again, but there is a need today because people don't know about this. We were pioneers in astrology, mathematics, physics. If you look at the whole construction of the temple itself, it's a testament. Chemistry, the science of alchemy, and many other sciences. And these things came about by an inner vision of these yogis and siddhas. So what they say is they refer to their own body as the microcosmos, and which is Pinda, and the macrocosmos, which is the whole of the cosmos. And they experience the whole of the cosmos, the macrocosmos, within them. Now, it doesn't make logical sense to us, isn't it? And when they experienced this, they knew if they came out to the society and started talking about it, they will be ridiculed as madmen. How can you experience the whole cosmos within you? Even size-wise, it doesn't make any logical sense. They also knew this. So they created something called a mesocosm, which is what a shetra is. A shetra is like a human body lying down. We call this the Vastu Purusha. It's a mandala. So it's a kshetra they created. They devised a method so that a commoner like you and me goes inside that space and comes out. It gives a taste, a glimpse of the cosmos. There are various aspects in the cosmos that they may have experienced. Some experienced it as the Milky Way, the Shira Sagara. That's how it is described. Shira Sagara itself means, Shira means milk and Sagara is the ocean. So they experienced that as the Milky Way. So the Vishnu principle, Mahavishnu principle came about. They personified it. Somebody else experienced it as nothingness, just utter blackness, Kala. So they personified it as Shiva. Somebody saw the happenings that is in the cosmos and personified it as Shakti. So like this, the personification of the inner experience is what we see as a kshetra or a temple space. So in the short time that we have, let me go through how you should be entering a kshetra so that you can benefit and come. There are various kinds of kshetras, various kinds of temples for the purpose for which you go. Let's say if you want education, then you go to a Saraswati temple. If you want wealth, then you go to Balaji temple or you go to Mahalakshmi temple and so on. If you have fear within you, unknown fears, phobias, then you go to a Bhairav and do the necessary rituals. So how do you prepare yourself? And then you go. Bath is an essential part of dinacharya. In this culture, it is not so. In this culture, when I say when you come to Western countries, because of the weather conditions, it's not part of that culture. You know, once a week or thrice a week is what, you know, they say.
So,
but
Premji, one slight request here. So, can you define the shetra as well as the dinacharya in a simple words?
Kshetra is the energy space, the temple. Instead of using the word temple, I'm going to use the word kshetra, because how a kshetra is made, we will discuss in detail in the workshop, but because we don't have enough time, because it's like a hi-fi gadget that is there. We don't know how to use this. Right now, we are just going around it, we are taking selfies with it, and we are happy with that. But if the key is given and if you can unlock it and if you can drive it, that's what it's supposed to do. The kshetra, the energy field, is supposed to do something else. Right now, we are just going there, bowing down, praying, expressing gratitude and coming. That's perfectly fine. But that's not what it is created for. So a dinacharya is like from morning, when the moment you wake up till the moment you go to sleep, what are the things that you need to do? These are defined in our scriptures in various different ways. In the yogic way, there is one way. In the bhakti marga, there is one way. And the preparation that you need to do with your body, purification rituals and other things that you can do to enhance yourself. So all this is designed to empower yourself so that you become not just a human being, but a superhuman being. So if you are going into a mesocosm, which is a kshetra, and coming out, they want you to grab a bit of the cosmos into you. That means what? You're becoming a Mahapurusha. From the Purusha, you become the Mahapurusha or the divine himself. This is what they said, Tattvamasi, or Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi, which means you are God, or I am that. This is the essence of our, is it a language? It's okay, right? Some intimation came.
No, it is clear to us.
Okay. So these are dinacharya is about the things that you can do to enhance yourself. One part of that is purification. So taking daily bath first thing in the morning before you do anything else. So that is essential. And before you step into the temple or the kshetra, there is always a tap. I mean, here I'm saying in the US, but in India, you may have a big water body. We call this as pushkarnis, which is always in the northeast corner for a east-facing temple. So that's how the Vastu is designed, how the layout of a temple is. So in an east-facing temple, the northeast corner is where the water source is. You go there, if you can take a dip, wet your body, because having your body wet increases the receptivity of the body to the energies inside. If you cannot take a bath, then at least wash your feet, wet your palms and your head, and then you walk in. Once you go in, you'll see a stamba, which is a copper-plated pillar or brass-plated. This is like the umbilical cord for a baby who is in the mother's womb. How the nourishment for us came through the umbilical cord when we were in the womb. Similarly, for this kshetra, the Dvajastamba is what connects the macrocosmos to the kshetra. And then you will see a Balipita, which is like a small altar kind of thing. Bali Pitam. Bali itself means sacrifice. No, we are not sacrificing anything there. It's just that before you enter the space, if you want to experience whatever is there in the inside, sanctum, which is the Garbhagraha, you need to sacrifice all that you are carrying within you in the form of anger, lust, fear, anxiety, all those things, you sacrifice it right there. Because with all those things, you cannot experience what is there inside. And then you go into the Antaralaya, the Mantapa. And then usually before entering in the outside, there will be shops which are selling offerings. Offerings could be like coconuts, flowers, bananas, fruits, incense, camphor, oil, these kind of things. There are specific offerings for each of the deity. When I say deity, we are a culture which has 33 million gods and goddesses. Again, the gods and goddesses word is used because they don't, in English, we don't have an equivalent terminology. Here we call them devatas. So these devatas, the presiding deity is, there'll be specific offerings, for, let's say, for Ganesha, modak, right? And the specific kind of grass is used, specific kind of flower is used. So everything for each and every devata is prescribed. So according to that temple, the offerings you take inside, and then once you go to the sanctorum, there is a acharya, a priest, a Brahmin priest is there. And to him, you hand over the offering, and then you stand there and then you create sankalpa. Sankalpa means intent. These days, everywhere you talk about, creating intent and manifesting and all that. So intent, we don't say you go and pray there. This is not a prayer hall, right? This is, you create a sankalpa, and then you tell your name and gotra, rashi, nakshatra, all that. This is a way of registering to that energy space. Now, what is this energy space? What is it? How is it created? Just to put it in a brief way, every kshetra that is created will have a yantra in the presiding deity at the base of it. A yantra is a metallic plate, usually a copper, silver, or gold based on the resources, with geometric patterns inscribed in it. These geometric patterns are the physical format, or cymatics. Today, every sound has a form attached to it. So that form is what is inscribed on this plate. So similarly, for, let's say, it's Ganapati or Vishnu or Shiva, accordingly, there is a yantra or a geometric form. That form has a corresponding sound. That sound is the mantra. So it is energized by constant repetition of mantras. And then during the pratishtha, which is the consecration or the making of this energy space, it is installed at the base of the pedestal, and then the murti is fixed on top. There are so many other rituals which we will look at in detail in the workshop, but this is how it is installed. And once it is installed, it is like a live being. Morning, he or she needs to be woken up, given bath, dressed up, decorated, and then fed. There are names for this, specific names. So once the feeding is done, then he or she is ready for us to go and have darshan. Darshan is the most important aspect of a kshetra. Why it is so important? People who are into physics or quantum mechanics, you know this, that double slit experiment, the very famous double slit experiment. What it has proven is, they haven't proven anything. It has just confused scientists that if you observe a particle, it will behave in one way. If you don't observe it, it starts behaving in another way. They still haven't figured out why it is so, but that's how it is. Here, we have been told to give undivided, absolute attention to the deity inside. That's what darshana is. That deity has been prepared with utmost care by the priest. The whole bathing and then the decoration, the shringar, everything has been done with so much care and attention. And then when you go there, you also pay absolute attention to it. The kind of attention that you are able to hold, that's how much the deity will yield to you. See, everybody goes there and creates the same sankalpa, but it will happen for each one differently because of the kind of attention that one is able to hold there. And the way you register or connect to that is your name and your gotra or nakshatra. In the south, we say nakshatra. In the north, it is gotra. And then you connect and you stand there and create the sankalpa that this is what I need. This is what I want. Once that is done, then the priest brings out the prasada. First, the tirtha. What is a tirtha? Tirtha is water which has gone through the whole rituals that has happened inside. Rituals would involve the mantra and the other rituals that are there. So the water, today it has also been proven that has memory. So the water has imbibed the energies of the whole ritual and has become tirtha. So you take that in, and then you sprinkle it, and then whatever fruits has been offered inside is also given to you as prasada. If flower is given, men keep it by the ear. It is just that you want to be in touch, even physically in touch with whatever has been imbibed with the energy as much as possible. So the tirtha, the pushpa, whatever you keep, and then the prasada, you later on consume. You're not supposed to consume within the kshetra. Then you go around circumambulation clockwise, and then you come and sit in the mandapa. Now, when you sit with your eyes closed. You are not supposed to stand there in front of the Garbhagriha and close your eyes. People I've seen, they stand there with this. No, you have darshan. That's more important. Later, when you come and sit, you sit with your eyes closed, and then you visualize the imagery that you saw inside. So this is to be in sync with whatever energies has been created or established in that space. There are other parivara devatas. Parivara devatas meaning the family of deities. If there is a Shiva in the central sanctum, then you will have his family of deities around. There will be Ganapati, there will be Parvati or Shakti, there will be Kartikeya, there will be Navagrahas, there will be Bhairava. Bhairava is the Kshetra. So as we walk into this whole space, it's like you are walking into a perfect human body, which is divine in nature. And you are there to soak up these energies, and then you come. So once you sit there, you visualize this whole thing as if you are surrounded by this Vastu Purusha Mandala, and you try to reverberate with that. That's what you sit and meditate with. And then you come. So this is the shortest way in which I could explain how a shetra should be approached. If you know the mantras, if you have learned the mantras, which will be beneficial because you are going to reverberate with whatever has been established with. That's why mantras are taught, so that even if you are not somebody who's creating the shetra, you can go in at least 2-3 lines you have learned, you say that, be in sync with that, and then you come. This empowers you. See, this is like you are driving in traffic. Everybody is going in one direction. You are also going. There is least friction. Now you decide to go opposite. You are going to collide with everything, and it's going to be a mess. So this empowers us to be in cosmic sync. That's what it means. So many situations comes up in life, which we see as hard situations. So many other factors are involved. But if we have a certain cocoon, then it's easy to pass through. So that's what these kshetras empower us to do. If you have any questions.
So a couple of words requiring clarification. You mentioned Garbhagriha and Mandala.
Yes.
Could you just simplify those two?
Mandala just means a geometric pattern. It could be perfectly geometric, or it could be curvy also. But it is a geometric pattern. So the whole kshetra is usually divided into 84 segments. And each segment, this is according to the Agama Shastra. Agamas is the architectural guidelines as to how a kshetra should be constructed. Agama is not restricted only to the kshetras, it's also about Nagara also, how a town should be established. But here we are concerned only with the kshetra. So how it should be constructed. So mandala is the grid. You can say it's a grid. And Garbhagraha, Garbha itself means the womb, which is the core of a human body. In the kshetra, the central sanctorum is the Garbhagraha. So if a human being is lying down, it corresponds to the third eye, the ajna. And the entry point is the feet. That's how it is seen.
All right. So we have already received some question regarding workshop and stuff. Before we go, I'm just going to ask you one question here. Uh, so the location for deciding the kshetra, is it any specific location? They decide that, okay, this is the location for establishing temple, or it can be any place.
Yes. So we, because of lack of time, I didn't go into the categories of temples. We were only discussing about an agamic temple, which is constructed according to the architectural guidelines. There are grama devatas, which are village deities. They function in a totally different way. Agamic temples, you can decide wherever you want, the available land that is there. You bring in stapati. Stapatis are architects who are well versed in the agamas. So these tapatis, they will come. There is a whole procedure. There is a 5 ways of testing the land by touch, smell, and then they grow a crop there for 90 days to see how the crop is growing. Based on that, they will know, because for thousands of years, what has happened there should be taken into consideration. There could have been people dying there or buried or burnt there. Animals could have died. So they will do Vastu Shuddhi Puja. First, cleanse the land of all the memories, and then they will start the puja. These days, it's very restricted. We show a small piece of land and say this is where we have to build. So much modifications are made. Those
Right.
days they were able to choose. They will travel around and then choose this is the appropriate land.
Very interesting. All right. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the session, it is very short session, and we wanted to just give a glimpse of what the workshop with Premji will offer. And again, those who have joined late, we have 3 workshops coming in East Coast, starting from New Jersey from April 26th. Then we are having another workshop in Boston and one more in Atlanta. Will have also planned to have a workshop in other part of country. So if these 3 location are not something you can attend, you can definitely check out in future. In coming months, we will announce those dates and place. With that said, I'm just going to ask him some workshop specific question. He's been doing this kind of workshop where we said right now we are calling it Rediscover Your Hindu Roots, and he's going over 3 areas: tradition, culture, and temple. And he has been hosting this workshop for quite some time. And those question I'm going to ask is going to be workshop specific. So I'm just going to ask him what motivated Premji you to start such workshop, because I have seen you taking people on tours and hosting them in various part of Bharat, right? And last year you hosted workshop here in US as well at multiple places. So what motivated you to start workshop? You could have just better be in the YouTube and just keep releasing the video with your detailed knowledge as you have shared here, right, on virtual space.
Yeah. So right from childhood, these questions were always intriguing me. Why this temple? Is that God created by a human being? How are we worshipping? These kind of questions that comes to a child, parents were not able to answer, and grandparents, of course, they didn't tell, because they were a different generation. They were just devotees. We have become a thinking generation, intellectuals. The moment we stepped into a convent education, we have become questioning people. So my questions were of that kind, and nobody connected. Here and there you get answers, but then a wholesome thing was not there. And this led me to reading lots of books by Siddhars, uh, being in connect with Stapatis, the architects of temples, how it is made. Then I realized this is a whole cosmos by itself. And later on, living in the ashram, doing sadhana, then internally you start connecting dots, and then everything falls into place. I'm still figuring it out. Not that it's ended, but this is my own exploration, which I saw that there is no one single book which can give everything. It's just that each different, it's all over the place. So putting it together is something that I thought I should do. Yes, YouTube videos are one thing that I did. But one thing that I realized is people need to experience this in person. The analogy I always use of talking, I can talk about all the dishes that are available, different continental, Mexican, Indian, Japanese cuisine, and all that. I can name the dishes and describe all that, and it'll be a knowledge that I can share. But unless I take you to the restaurant and actually make you eat a dish, you'll never know what the food tastes like. So experiencing it firsthand, that's more important. And one more thing that I realized is through this Dharmic revival that is happening, there are few who are conducting it. I myself attended it. But mostly they deal with the architecture, the history of the temple, which is all important, but not for a commoner who is going there to make use of it. So I focus only on how do you make use of the space. I'm not interested in who built the temple in which century, when it was broken. Of course, if you are a history buff, then you can go into all that. But right now, I want to make use of this. If you don't make use of this, you're not going to empower yourself. If you're not empowered, then there is no pride over what that space is. So you need to know the results of going into a space and coming. I have experienced this and I wanted to share, and that's why I take people around and even the.
Yeah, I guess you are also extending this similar approach to customs and some of the rituals and some of the common knowledge we've been told to follow, but we don't know why to follow it, right? And that's common thing. And especially when you mentioned that the logical mind is activated, and we tend to see that now why, especially we could clearly see this in young minds, right, who are born and brought up here. They have no idea, right? Versus what some of us who have accepted this as a something, just we do by nature, by habit, and just go. Versus young mind who have no knowledge about it, but then they are told to follow, but they don't have a logical explanation behind this, right? And the other thing I noticed from what you are describing is that seems like it is some kind of transformational effect, because the way, if you just keep watching videos and stuff, okay, you might get just knowledge bits and here and there, but not something which you clearly change your perspective about your heritage, right? So I think, would you like to elaborate that? And I want to also add one aspect there, because we clearly see that people are having this question saying that you are hosting this workshop for 2 days, and we need to now spare 2 days of entire 9 to 5 kind of things, right? Why you want to just give this much time for explaining things, right? So please elaborate.
Yeah, I know we are in times of reels and shorts. So people are used to having everything short form, right? So that's how they expect the thing also. People who have gone through it will be have shared it with me that at the end of 2 days, this is not enough. They have seen that I'm rushing through certain parts because it's so deep and profound that 2 days is not enough. And there are certain things that we need to do in person because this whole shetra and the cultural aspects and rituals that we will be talking about, these are so connected to our body and our life energies. So it goes as subtle as how you breathe through the left or the right and how you connect to the shetra is that's how subtle it goes. So these things I never talk about in the videos because that will be so irresponsible to talk about such subtler things in videos. So these things have to happen in person. So that's one thing. And it's even 2 days is a crash course is what I would say because it's an ocean by itself. Yeah, and
Absolutely.
here, especially in the US, I have seen that the children who are born here, brought up here, this generation has started questioning the parents already. Why should I come to the temple? Why should I do the ritual? Isn't it superstition? And the parents are clueless because we just came from there and we are working, doing businesses here. So it becomes even more important because this is the next generation who is going to support the whole dharmic thing works that's
Absolutely.
happening here, and the temples as well. Now, why would temples be important? Because I am empowered by it, I am benefited by it. If that gap is not closed, then the temples are will stand like how people go to Rome and take selfies and come. Great civilization.
Absolutely.
That's how it will
So
become.
last question, and is a perfect segue, what you described, saying that what they see, I mean, they get out for themselves, right? So what could be a takeout from the workshop, right? One, you mentioned how they approach the temple visit, and any other things you can elaborate on?
So day to day, like temple is just, as I said, a replica of the human system. So where do we live? This house that we live, how to maintain the house. People would have experienced this. If people come and go, visit their home and go, sometimes they feel so drained just interacting with them. You can call them negative vibes or whatever, but these are all things that are fixable. So what to do in your own home in a day-to-day basis, on a weekly basis, and how to sync with the cosmic from Monday to Sunday. Those kind of things, rituals that are done at home on a day-to-day basis and on a weekly basis, monthly basis, lunar cycle wise. What do we do on Amavasya, on a Purnami, and each Tithi, what we can do to protect the house, to make this energetic, because this is where we spend most of our time. I mean, apart from work or school, this is where we spend. So how to enhance this space is something that we look at. And during the whole year, during the festivities, what are the things that you can do? Not just to the home space, but to yourself also. So that is dinacharya. Similarly, through the week, through the month, what you can do to yourself to protect yourself so that functioning in the world becomes effortless.
All right. So I wish we could just hear you and keep asking you question. But since we decided for 30 minutes for this webinar, we'll just wrap up this program right here. And just reminder for folks, we are hosting Premji for 3 workshop starting New Jersey from April. Registration URL is given in the chat window. I'm going to put it again. And if your city is not covered, don't be disheartened. We are coming with the new dates and cities in future this year, later down, either in late summer or possibly during this fall time as well. So keep checking, and we might host Premji for some other event as well. So Dhanyavad Premji, and thank you everyone for joining. Namaste.